Hey everyone, my name is Josh, and I study blood flow restriction training. And the goal of these videos is to make blood flow restriction training easy for you, so you can better understand it and you can better apply it in practice. Now, in this video, I want to go over the best blood flow restriction training protocol. In other words, how much weight should you be lifting? How many reps and sets should you be doing? How much rest should you be taking between the sets? And how many times should you be doing this per week, or what we call frequency? Well, let's start with load, or how much weight you should be lifting. Now, in the literature, it recommends that if you want to improve muscle size and strength, you need to be lifting anywhere between 20 to 40% your 1 RM. Now, what's a 1 RM? That's your 1 repetition maximum, or how much weight, the maximum amount of weight you can lift one time. Okay? Now, let me go over an example. Let's say I want to do some blood flow restriction training, bicep curls. And I want to know how much weight I should be lifting. Well, the first thing I got to do is figure out how much weight, or the maximum amount of weight, I can lift one time. And let's say I figure that out. Let's say the maximum amount of weight I can lift one time is 50 pounds. Okay? Now, obviously, I'm not going to do my blood flow restriction training with 50 pounds. I'm going to be using 20 to 40% of 50 pounds. So let's say I choose 20%. What's 20% of 50 pounds? That's 10 pounds. So that is how much weight I'm going to be doing my bicep curls with. Okay, so that is how much weight you should be lifting when doing this type of training, anywhere between 20 to 40% your 1 RM. Now, next, let's talk about volume. How many sets and reps should you be doing? Well, in the literature, one of the most common and consistent schemes that has been shown to improve the muscle is the 75 reps over 4 sets scheme. So this involves 4 sets, the first set doing 30 reps, the second set doing 15 reps, the third set doing 15 reps, and the fourth set doing 15 reps, okay? Again, this is consistently shown to be effective. But the only problem is that's a lot of volume, right? And it may not be practical for every situation. For example, someone who just had an injury probably can't tolerate that much volume. Well, another scheme that has been shown to be effective in the literature is the 3 to 5 sets to concentric failure, okay? So this is doing 3 to 5 sets of as many reps as you can until you reach, failure. You just can't do the rep anymore. Okay, that may be a little more tolerable, maybe more practical, but has also been shown to be effective in the literature. Okay, now let's talk about rest. How much rest should you be taking between each set? Well, the literature recommends that no matter the rep set scheme, you should be taking 30 to 60 seconds of rest between each set. Now, the key thing to remember, though, is that when you're taking that rest between the sets, you need to keep that cuff inflated, okay? So that cuff stays inflated throughout the entire number of sets that you're doing, okay? Again, this is to maximize the fatigue in the muscle and maximize the adaptation. So remember, when you're doing blood flow restriction training, you want to keep the cuff inflated throughout the entire number of sets, even during the rest period, okay? Now, finally, let's talk about frequency. How many times should you be doing this per week? Well, the literature recommends that you should be doing this 2 to 3 times per week. Okay, that's going to be effective at causing adaptation in the muscle. And this makes sense, right? If you're doing any kind of traditional resistance training, it's also recommended that in order to improve the muscle, you need to do it 2 to 3 times per week. So this is the same with blood flow restriction training. Okay, so that's the best blood flow restriction training protocol. How much weight should you be lifting? 20 to 40% your 1 RM. Okay, what is the number of sets and reps? Well, one more of the more practical schemes you should be doing is 3 to 5 sets to concentric failure. How much rest should you be taking? 30 to 60 seconds between sets. And how many times should you be doing this per week? 2 to 3 times per week. Okay.